everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Carla.
Hi, it's Carla from Quilting by the River.
And it's Lynn from Lynn Wheatley Designs. And
And
boy, is it cold out. So today, Vermont logged in the coldest temperature in the continental U.S.
Burr, baby,
Yes.
burr.
Yeah, minus 27. It is early December. That is so wrong. So I just want to go on record to say that I'm cold. I'm not usually cold, but today it was cold. So yeah, I'm just not ready for this.
Yeah. I told my husband this morning that he can't complain about cutting the grass because he only cuts the grass once a week. And we seem to shovel and get everything all nice, and then it snows again. And I don't even know about accumulation so much, but it blows and then it, and it swirls and it's winter.
Yeah, the wind. It's amazing. It's caught me by surprise because we had such a late summer. We never even had fall. It seems like it was like warmish and then moved right into the winter. So, but we're not here to talk about the weather or the snow.
No. It's Christmas.
Yes. So this is the holiday edition of Quilting Unscripted, where the chat is casual and all things quilty. So what's the first quilty thing we have up, Carla?
Well, no, not my quilty, but I do like your hat.
Yes. So we have a little bit of props today.
Mine fades into the background, so I'll go closer. It says,
Merry Christmas. There we go. Yeah, so it's a cute little hat. It's just one of those little fun things that we have to celebrate.
Whether you're a quilter or a knitter or a whatever doer, it's busy season. Oh my goodness. I have lists.
Yes.
And for those of you that aren't real familiar, I have a daughter who lives in England and family and two little ones, of which she sent me the video of their Christmas concert, and I have become that grandma where I watched the video and I was like, oh, this is so cute. Yeah, I got a little sappy. We don't see them very often, so it's a really big deal. So they are coming over, which means I have lists upon lists upon lists, and we've sort of been getting ready for the family to do, we don't get together as a whole gang of us too often. So that has been, a bit of an organization.
Super exciting. Very exciting for you guys. Yeah.
To the point that because we live about 45 minutes outside of Sudbury, I can't just pop over to the grocery store if I run out of something. So the freezer is full. The freezer's full because we downsized when we moved. So I don't have a ginormous one, but big enough for Hub and I. And because of the loft, I have a freezer up in the loft, and there is now stuff in the freezer in the loft. So, if nothing else, I'll be ready for the snowstorms in January.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, things are a little bit quieter here. I'm not getting ready to have a family come over for a few weeks because I'm fortunate that my family is local. However, my son is gone for the month of December. He's off training military personnel in Hawaii. Darn. Oh. So he's been in Hawaii since day after Thanksgiving. He left that weekend, and he's off there until I think he'll be back on the 20th. So he checked in the other night, see how things were going, and he was where it was warm. So
it'd be really cool if you could just send him some cold weather in a box.
Yeah, or he could bring the sunshine back, bring the warm weather back with you. Can you? So anyway, but. So I'm going to go up and spend this coming weekend with Emily and Ellie, and we're going to do some shopping because I haven't really done much shopping yet. A few things, but not really a lot. But yeah, so that's a fun family thing that I'm going to do, and then we'll get ready for the holidays here.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can get that. Yeah.
Just a little note, and I can't remember if I sent you I probably didn't send you the little video clip that I took, but our house is on a bit of an incline from the river. So house here, river there. And we have this bit of a driveway kind of thing that, when the girls come to the studio, because I have a walkout in the lower level, they can drive down, but you can keep going down to the boathouse. So we've had enough snow. And the little ones are getting old enough now that Grandpa, also known as Gidu, thought it would be really cool if he made a toboggan slide here beside the house. So he got the snow machine out and ran it a couple of times. And then we had to test it. And some days I wish I could just, put some of these things so that everybody has a visual of what I'm talking about. But Grandpa put on the new styrofoam slider thing that we bought the kids. And he actually went from the top of the house down, banked. He made it so that it banked that little corner going down to the boathouse. There was a little bit of hooting and hollering and so we're going to have be fun. It'll be close to the house. So, we don't have to trek too far. And my only fear is the river's not frozen yet. And when I went down, I didn't stop till I hit the boathouse. So my concern is that the little ones are much lighter than the Yaya and the Gidu. And I said, we're going to have to bank it and have somebody at the end of the run so that, they can catch the flying Thule through the yard, or she's just going to take off and end up in the neighbor's tree or something. It's like, it'll be good.
You guys will have a blast. I wish I could be there. I just think that's so cool. So we've got snow cover here, and we have not had snow cover this time of year, but because the ground froze probably 8 inches or 10 inches in before the snow came, it's not going anywhere, and it is cold. So more snow on the horizon for tomorrow, and then on the weekend again. So I think we're actually going to have a good time with the grandkids as well. We also have some nice vertical slopes where we live. To have some fun with sledding.
In the mountain ranges, Jim thinks about you every time there's like snow, and you're calling me going, I have to go through 2 mountains or over 2 mountains to get to the shop or something, because whenever we drive through mountains, Jim always sort of says, oh my God, why do they put a corner right at the bottom of these humongous mountains?
Yeah. So why is it, straight down both sides? I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So, I'm a little nervous, because we live sort of on a hill that's sort of like a bobsled run. It is, you have to really want to live where I live, to live here, because of it's pretty treacherous. It can be pretty treacherous. Quilting customers do not come here in the winter. I deliver quilts into town because of that. And tomorrow, so this is my first thing, I'm gonna talk about this really quilty, is tomorrow I take delivery of all the cruise fabric. So the UPS truck has to get up the hill, get down our driveway, and not go over the edge to deliver all that fabric. So that'll be an end. We're looking for 3 to 5 inches of snow. So
bolts and bolts.
The dirt roads are still snow covered. They never, they got some sand on them, but there's snow underneath them now, and they're that way. It's been so cold.
Well,
so anyway, tomorrow is fabric delivery day, and it's going to snow. So
I'm expecting videos.
Oh yes.
Of the quilt coming, the fabric coming in, and the unboxing, and
So I think we're going to do a video of unboxing this fabric on the Cruisers Facebook page. So we have this, for our cruisers, we have a private group. So I think we're going to do unbox the fabric with Carla on the other side, and do it on that page. So I'm really excited about that. So that's kind of on the docket for tomorrow. And, today I delivered the last long arm quilting jobs for the year. So I've wrapped up teaching and I've wrapped up long arming for other people. So now the long arm is open for me to put something on for me.
Oh, there you
So
go.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I did. Well, I don't, my box isn't empty, but nothing due before Christmas. So that was good. I got the last one off last week. I've got Alaska is quilted, bound, sleeve. It's ready to sort of rock and roll. And my last class was last week. So I sort of planned it because, I've had other family things that have had to take priority, like food.
Yeah. So
Beds.
speaking of food, so I have a
Yes.
treat to show you. So I have been in full production with a candy I only make this time of year out of a cast iron pan that only makes this candy. And I've been doing this for more than 40 years.
Oh, don't you guys all wish we had taste division?
So anybody who's had this candy will just love it. But here's the bowl. And it's homemade English toffee.
Oh my goodness.
So I will take my fancy hands and show you the piece. Anyway, I make this batch after batch. I make them 3 batches at a time because that's the only surface. I have 3 batches worth of surface in which I can roll, pour this hot candy out onto. So anyway, it's a specialty of mine. I was taught how to make this 40 years ago by a quilter. Her name was Betty, so I call it Betty Bar. But it's a version of English toffee. It has almonds inside it, and semi-sweet chocolate on the top with an almond dust on the top. So anyway, but the cast iron pan is only used for that. It comes out day after Thanksgiving, goes back on New Year's Day into storage, and I don't make it the rest of the year. So,
if you really like your friend, you'd put a piece in the freezer so that you could share it with your friend when I see you at the end of February.
Yes. No doubt there'll be some treats involved to that trip. So yeah, so it's treat season here in the Wheatley household, and it's basically butter and sugar. And you bring it to that right temperature so the house smells like English toffee.
Now, I don't mind the smell of English toffee, to be honest with you. I did bake. I did start the baking today. I got the chocolate chip cookies. My one son-in-law doesn't like fruit in baking, so I have to sort of do my husband likes fruit in baking, like coconut stuff and whatever. So I did the chocolate chip cookies today, and my mother-in-law, as long as forever that we've been married, my mother-in-law has always made Rice Krispie squares. And I didn't make Rice Krispie squares for the kids when my mother-in-law was still alive, because Grandma always sent one of those big cookie tins. You buy them, you eat the cookies, and then you have the tin. I think I have 4 or 5 of them that I keep in the cupboard. Anyway, so she passed on a multitude of years ago, so I've taken it over. And of course, now you have to do the red and green Rice Krispies. I've started with the Rice Krispies. I'm going to end up making a second batch because the first batch and I've got the 3 little ones. It's going to go. It's going to go.
It'll be a hit. It'll be a hit for sure.
Along with baking, Lynn, Christmas.
Yes.
I spent, the day before last. So this is Sunday. I had gone the other week. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit more.
Okay.
Way back when my kids were little, like 7 or 8, I read an article in the Better Homes and Gardens or Canadian Living Christmas magazine, and they were talking about, saving the trees and not using wrapping paper, and to make yourself these Christmas bags. And I thought, well, I have a sewing machine and I quilt, I can make bags. Now, they're not fancy. There is no, fold it over and make it all look nice. It is It's a bag. It's just sew the seam, sew the bottom, roll it over, make a casing, and put in a string. But I made 2 yards worth, and I randomly cut them. I don't even measure. I just go, okay, well, maybe somebody needs a bag this big, or we'll make a couple of little ones. So I spent the rest of today after I finished wrapping, because the girls Lauren will come with gifts, but they won't be wrapped because she's got to bring them in her suitcase. So she'll wrap here. And Erin usually wraps certain things here. So we just use bags. And little by little, they've disappeared. So I think the girls take them. But see, I made bags. And see?
Yeah, it's really cute.
Maybe it's a little bit lazy. But there's nothing more fun than taking your gift and going, oh, sweater. How do I wrap a sweater? And you just find a bag that the sweater fits in, pop the sweater in there, close the tie, put the name tag on it, and stick it under the tree.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea.
That, and we've been very, very good. My oldest daughter is an environmental PhD-er. We try. See, look at, I just sewed bags, nice. And they don't take long. See, they're just random
rectangles and squares.
This is for a big vest for a big guy, maybe. I don't know. I have 2 more yards. If I find the time between now and Christmas, I will. Oh, hi, Shirley. Shirley says, I still have a couple of red Santa socks from Eaton's, and they get used every Christmas. Yes. I had to scrounge up socks because the kids aren't packing socks. So we all have socks. Hold it. I was listening to a podcast, and somebody doesn't do socks. It's not a thing. Oh, my friend Anna. Anna is Italian, and she said that they grew up and socks weren't a thing. And then, she married a Canadian guy, and he's like, "Where's the socks?" So, yeah, socks. Bags.
Yeah, what else is going on in your quilting world? What do you got coming up? What have you been working on? I mean, before you know it,
I touched on it last week, last month, but and I said that I was trying to resurrect my Killarney retreat. So everybody will be happy to know that I have signed the contract with Killarney Mountain Lodge. The poster and info thing, because you got to sort of scale it out and make sure you've got all the information. But Killarney is a go. I'm so excited. I'm going to be teaching my new pattern, Lumi. So it'll actually work out really well because Lumi is blue. Lumi is snow and finish. And so they'll have a winter quilt to carry forward after the retreat. So November 10, 11, 12 of 2026. I know that seems like a far way away, but it takes a little bit of coordinating to pull something like this off.
Right.
And I don't want to do it in the summer because summer is when everybody does summer things. So, yeah. So November it is. So I'm really sort of excited about that. So that I will probably launch after New Year's. Beginning of January, we'll get the Facebook posts up and the Instagram posts up and the posters out in the quilt shops, and
last few weeks, and it'll continue for another couple of weeks. I've been like head over heels into coordinating the retreat that's in February that I co-host with 2 other individuals. That's on Cape Cod, and it's a week long. So
let me interrupt. Did we do a live when you were there last time?
Yes, we did. Last February's live was on the floor at this retreat. And this is the registration closed around the 20th of November. So since then, you know, it's been a full steam ahead with, we know what the count is. The count is between 135 and 140 quilters again this year. It's just a lot of quilters. You can imagine what it's like to do the logistics for that many people. So anyway, but we're in the thick of that, I have to have most of this, my part, done before the end of the year because I'm traveling in January. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing a lot lately. And it's really coming together quite well. There's quite a few people that have stepped forward to do some demonstrations and some small project classes, you know, things that you can do in just a couple hours and have a completed project. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, and before you know it, February will be here. So that's really my next, between now and then, I'm only doing studio work for the entire month of December. And then January, I am on a personal vacation for 3 weeks. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be gone from the snow and the cold and in the warm and the surf and the waves for almost 3 weeks. So really excited about that. But the great
for all the cruisers out there who are coming with us,
yeah.
Lynn is cruising, so there'll be Facebook posts about what to bring, what not to bring, and remember to do this.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, and we have a pretty extensive checklist. You know what to do. Make sure you've got done 2 weeks out, 1 week out. You know, don't wait until the day before you got to go to the airport to pack your suitcase. That'll never work. Those kinds of things.
Does not happen in my world. I'm a
planner. It's weird because, you know, I traveled a lot in my career, my previous career and this career, quilting career. And I can literally pack in just a couple of hours the personal things I need for a week because I was on the road so much. I had to shift that quickly. So I just got used to that. And so, but I'm taking the warning and all the guidance from the cruising Facebook groups I belong to, my cruising friends and everybody, that just make sure you got it done ahead of time. And we've already started to get ready for our launch on, we're leaving on January 5th, Monday the 5th. So anyway, that's super exciting. But, and I'm super excited about the retreat in February. It really is the start of the year for me. So yeah, so I've been working a lot on that. You know, and this is the holiday season. And so in the holiday season, I get so much pleasure from giving something to somebody. And so I had the pleasure last week at Thanksgiving to give my brother, who lives, I have 3 brothers. 2 of them live out west and 1 lives here close to me. And he retired a couple of years ago and he wore a tie every day. So he gave me his ties. And so I was able to take his ties, and out of part of the collection, I was able to give him the first of 2 pieces over Thanksgiving. And it was just such a cool thing for me to be able to create something that was totally unique and totally special to him. And you know, every little patch in that thing and that quilt meant something to him, a memory, and being able to give it to him. Because you know, I'm truly thankful for my family and everything that I have with my family, and giving that to him was just really special. So I don't often get to create such a nice piece for a personal reason, and then being able to give it away and have somebody thoroughly enjoy it. And it's just really cool. So I just like, it's the sort of the time of the year that giving is really special for a lot of people. So I just wanted to share that the first of the 2 tie quilts is now happily hanging, not in the location it was designed for, because he didn't think enough people were going to get to see it in the location it was designed for. So he has moved it front and center in his house. So I'm thrilled that he made that decision on his own. So super excited. And at some point, I'll put, now that it's been given, I'll get some photos up on my quilting Facebook page and Instagram. So
I mean, That's Christmas, that's quilters, and that's giving. I mean, I know that the long arm here in the last little while has seen numerous quilts that I've loaded from quilters that had made them as gifts. And the quilting world has expanded. If you think about, grandma quilting, with used curtains and reproduction fabrics, we now have the ability to make quilts specifically with the person in mind. And I think about the one panel quilt that I just did for one of the girls. She called it the camp quilt. And, it had bears and a lake and a loon and just very significant icons of that particular place. And it was going to go to camp and be on the camp bed. There's been others, we do double wedding rings for kids who are getting married, and, yeah. So we're very blessed to have the ability to spend our time making gifts that have meaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boop, boop. I have a visitor. So we have a bunch of friends with us tonight. So this is, I have had this thing about snowmen for a long time. So this is just one of my snowmen that comes out this time of year. So he's just a little guy. He's got a weight in his bottom. He's got coconut shells in the bottom. So he sits up, and he's just really cool. So.
I look at some of the stuff I've done for Christmas and I laugh to myself, because I think before I got busy, I had time to do weird things, because it's like, it was everything that I had to do the 2 table runners as gifts this year kind of thing. Yeah. But, I bring this out because this was a little, I think they called it caboodles, maybe back in the day. Oh, and this is going back 15 years. And he was a kit, with the lace for the beard, and he's got like a tube inside him.
Right.
So that oh, look at it is. It's called Holiday Kit, Happy Hollow Designs. So it came with everything that it has, but it also has a friend.
Nice.
And I have a witch, but it's not witchy season yet. Along with that, the same company made, it's going to get lost. This is Santa. Come on. And it's really funny because I wasn't a very good quilter back then. And if you look really close, he's done with a whole pile of 1-inch squares. And you did it on that 1-inch interfacing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you ironed him all on. You made the flying geese, stuck them on the interfacing, and then put all the squares. The boots are all done with different squares. And then you just sewed the strips, and then cut out the shape. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like one of those things where I look at it and I go, oh my goodness, I had time to do that. Yeah. Glued on his little wooden nose and his beady eyes. I don't know why Santa has to have little beady eyeballs.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's because he stays up too late. I think that's why.
Now, I have one more to show you.
Okay. Oh yes. So
this is probably a free. It's a wine bottle topper, but in the studio he sits on my spray bottle. I have 2. The one upstairs, I must admit, and everybody, we make mistakes. The one upstairs, his 2 little eyeballs are uneven. And so I have him sitting on a half-drank bottle of wine, and that's why his eyeballs aren't straight.
Right. Oh. No, it's a design feature. Not everybody's eyeballs are exactly perfect. We're all made slightly wonky. Honestly,
Yes.
when it's
That
really,
that
when you get right
particular
down to it.
that particular
Yeah.
one is.
Yeah.
So we've got the Killarney retreat. You're off on February. Oh, and I'm
Yeah.
going to add in there that sooner come back when
Right. Yeah.
when
So,
I think our texting will be from different parts of the world going, where are you now? Lynn? How's this sunny weather? At least we're not talking about the snow squalls and driving and stuff.
right.
I am
Right.
leaving at the end of January. Hubby and I are off to somewhere warm. And my goal is to go somewhere where somebody's going to walk up to me and say, "Ma'am, can I get you something?" And it's like, yes,
Yeah.
I don't have to get it myself.
Right. It's all about service.
It's all about needing a little bit of R&R. But
Yeah.
when we get back, in the middle of
It's going to be a busy
February,
time.
boots
So she's
on
going to get back the day after I leave to go do this event on the Cape, which, there's 2 days of setup, 7 days of the retreat, a day of breakdown, and back. So mid-February, I'll get back a little bit after mid-February, and then it'll be buckling down, and we'll be headed towards that cruise in April. We got lots of finishing touches to do on everything. So those kits to cut and package and get everything shipped to Florida so it can be wheeled onto the boat, and we don't have to deal with that. So that's all going to be done in late February or March.
Speaking of getting onto the boat, we will have some time when we hit Fort Lauderdale. I think the crew from up here, Air Transat, is talking about a strike. We just had Air Canada doing strikey stuff. So, that whole air travel thing, if going to be a little bit anxious, it's like, just get me on a plane and get me there, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
between now and the break of the new year, before I leave, we will sort of be solidifying up what's happening with the hotel arrangements, and any quilter that's coming with us wants to get together the night before, do dinner, just chat, get to know each other. We'll have all those details for early January. So when people come back off of the holidays and they start to get back serious into life, they can start to figure out what they're going to do there. Also, excursions will have to be booked and that kind of thing. So a lot going on with the cruise, even though we'll be doing our independent personal checking out of the world and having our R&R time. There'll be a lot of things going on behind.
Let me ask you a question. Do you ever really check out for that long period of time? Or do you just
so it'll be really hard for me to check out for 3 weeks, but I can easily check out for a week and it not bother me. And I haven't quite decided how I'm going to manage the 3 weeks that I'm actually going to be gone, because there'll be some time where I'm actually taking some handwork with me, which I never get to do, because by the time I sit down at night, I just can't even focus on hand sewing some nights because I'm just so tired. I just need to not think about anything at that point, and I just need to totally decompress. So I've got some hand sewing, but I don't know. I mean, I certainly love an adventure. I am sort of excited, even though I'm a little terrified, to head out into the rainforest and get on a zip line on the top of the trees and do things like that. I'm a little terrified of it. I'm a little, now it never used to bother me. Heights never used to bother me when I was younger, but they do bother me now. And so I'm going to do a few things that are a little terrifying, but I'm only going to live once, and I'm only going to go around.
This on my bucket list. See, that's something that that to me is the ultimate of what I want to do.
So anyway, I hopefully will survive it. I'm a little worried that the anxiety of it might kill me, but maybe not. I don't know. I might be so relaxed by then, but I don't know. I won't be able to check out completely, but I will give it my honest college try. And we're going with Jim's brother and his wife and another couple from here in Vermont, and they're cribbage players, so I think we'll have a really good time, sort of like, sort of checking out, not worrying about what time it is, not worrying about what everybody else in the world is doing, which, I think is a good,
I think the big thing about that is just staying off and not checking emails or something.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. When we left for the 10 days last November, I did not have a problem with that. I think the only time I opened the computer was towards the end of the trip to make sure that all the flight arrangements and everything, the travel home, was kind of all set. I do. Yeah. So, other than that, we didn't watch TV. We didn't, we just enjoyed the balcony. We sat on the balcony. We sat on the boat. We walked the boat. There was just there was so much to do that, and anyway, so good times there.
If you're bringing handwork, what are you bringing?
I am bringing a, oh my God. It's, it's a Tula Nova pattern. Okay. Tula Pink Nova, which is, hexagons. So
you're English paper piecing.
English paper piecing. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, and fabrics have been selected. The color charts have been done. I'm not doing it the way she did it, but I'm doing it with my own things. And some of the stuff has been cut and set, sort of organized for a while. A friend of mine and I bought them together and said, we're going to do them. We're going to do them in our own style. And so anyway, I've recently connected with her again. So I said, you got to get that out. You got to start working on it. So, cause I'm going to start working on mine. So anyway, so I'm taking English paper piecing, which will be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Your mind went a little bit like mine, because the last time that we were away, there were times where I had gone, I wish I had something to do, like just.
Yeah, I can sit and because you can read, but you can only read so much. I mean, some people can read from the minute they get up in the morning. My daughter is one of those. I think she just crossed over her goal for this year was 100,000 pages.
Oh God. I haven't been able to read for the last little while. I read the same page over and over. I think I read a page and I have no idea what I'm reading. So I do have a couple of books that I really want to sink my teeth into. My favorite author, Kristen Hanna, who wrote Nightingale, has just come out last year with, and I actually got it for Christmas last year. It was on my list, called Women. And so I'm anxious to get my teeth into that one. So I will bring a couple books I'm going to take. Tossing between doing a one sock. I'm a one sock knitter. I knit one sock because the heel always gets me, and I finish the sock and then I get busy again. So I never get a second sock done. But I have a cuff started. So whether I bring my sock or I have a block from, what's it called? I can't remember. It's an applique, and I want to do the block as a pillow, and I've got all the pieces turned, edged, and just ready to stitch on. So I'm tossing which one I want to take, because it's better to have it and not pull it out of its bag than to not have it and wish you had brought it with you.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. So, and probably I won't get anywhere near as much done on it as I think I can get done, but at least, the flight out to LA, which is 6.5 hours, we can do a bunch there, and that's sort of like, there's not much else to do, other than sleep sitting up. So, I wanted to just touch on one thing, and that was that in our industry, there was a big announcement this week, or last week, actually, now. And it was from Quilt Inc. Now, Quilt Inc. is the organization that started the International Quilt Festival and Market in Houston. So the festival,
thing that's on every Canadian quilter's bucket list.
yeah,
Years ago, I had a cookie jar. My girlfriend bought it for me, and it had she made a little necklace, and it said donate to Houston, so that if you wanted to give money, you'd lift the lid.
right.
Hopefully
So
you'd
I
have
could get to
enough
Houston.
in there
Right.
to get to Houston someday.
Yeah. So it is really the largest, show of its type. And in the last few years, so there was the festival, which is the retail sides. And we're talking about 35, 40,000 people come to this show. And then there's the market side. Now, the market side was started in the late 70s. And the market side is just for the wholesalers, the professionals in this business. So it's the teachers, it's the shop owners, it's all the fabric manufacturers, the notion manufacturers, the machine manufacturers. So that market happened for the first few days before the festival in the fall, and that started in '79. And how that started, and this is a cool story. This is why is that somebody, a shop owner, said to Carrie Bresenhan, who is the CEO of Quilt Inc., said, I'm having the hardest time finding yellow fabric. And the shop owner says, you need to get together all of the people so that we can buy yellow fabric. And so that's how this got born. Anyway, so and then in the early 80s, they started doing a spring market. So twice a year, all of the professionals would gather, and you'd buy your fabric, you'd look at all the things that happen, and the shops would come in, and us teachers would come in, and there'd be all kinds of networking, all kinds of stuff. And that really is how a lot of the quilting in this country grew so rapidly, was because this Quilt Inc. did the International Quilt Market and Festival in Houston. So anyway,
did Quilt Inc. do the one in Chicago back in the early 2000s then?
Well, so in the spring market rotated around in the cities. It never was in a stationary place. Every year it moved. It's been in St. Louis, it's been in Pittsburgh, it's probably been in Chicago. I can't honestly say because I don't have a lot of history about quilt market before I actually became a professional in this industry in the early, around 2013. So I'm not really sure. I can't answer that question. However, so they, on December 3rd, announced that Quilt Market would no longer exist. They have decided that it will be discontinued entirely. No spring, no fall. They are going to continue with festival. And Houston has become like the mecca for big conferences and large activity and large events. And so they were competing with a lot of other industries, other events for prime space in Houston. So, and they went back and forth negotiating with dates and stuff, and finally came up with, middle of November dates for the festival for 2026. So that was the announcement last week, that the market side would no longer exist. However,
think there's been competition from H&H? Because you and I did market at H&H in Chicago.
There is competition amongst in this world, and competition at a certain level is good. It's healthy because it makes everybody stay on their A game. Okay, and it brings to the industry what we need. And I do think with H&H coming in, there is a little bit of competition, but H&H is a different style show than Market was. Market was just quilting. H&H is a full gambit of fibers, from garments to knitting shawls, to quilting, and everything in between. Everything in between. So H&H is a huge fiber arts show. And they are doing, last year they did just a market meaning a professional or a networking at the professional level. Next year, they're going to split it and do a retail as well as a market, wholesale business side. But what's interesting is that, and I don't remember this, but Quilt Inc. a long time ago did a show called the Quilt Knit and Stitch. So I don't know if that's what you're thinking about was in Chicago.
No, this was strictly quilting.
Anyway, they're going to bring that back. So in April of next year, they're gonna do that in St. Louis, Missouri. So I don't really know. More to come as this unfolds, but quilt market, as we all in this professional side of it know, it is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
So
well, it's always been on my bucket list, so the list won.
Yeah, so I was fortunate to have checked it off my bucket list. But I think, it really did a lot for a lot of the professionals in this business. It grew this industry for us. It gave us opportunity, and immense opportunities unfolded.
I think when I started professional quilting in 2000, I was teaching at a shop, teaching out and about, doing retreats, blah, 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 sort of like the baby steps of where I am now. And what has happened to the industry from 2000 to where we are today. I can remember when Flying Geese by 4 ruler came out, and it was like, oh my goodness. Whoa, look at it. It's an acrylic ruler. There was Olfa rulers, and there was OmniGrid rulers, and that was it. I still have my original Olfa that I stuck in the door. It's only 19 inches long now. Great for travel, fits in your suitcase. But like just what's happened to blades, needles, threads,
right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, all the things that pressing, all of the things that now help the pressing side of what we do. And
we've cored these irons.
Yeah, so just a lot of things have happened in the quilt world, but so market is no longer. So there's one of the other things. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say there's also other news regarding Pellon.
Oh yeah. So there's a couple other things that I heard. So when we were at H&H in May, there was an announcement made there that Simplicity, McCall's, Butterick, and Vogue were hashing it in. They were no longer, and Hilco, a liquidation firm, was buying the big four. So that occurred back in May. And so I have recently heard, and there's been no press release yet about this, so I don't really know if it's 100% accurate, but I wanted to share that Simplicity, as well as, I don't know if everybody's familiar with Wright's bias tape. Okay, that's packages of bias tape that you get in the Notion store. Yeah, the cellophane packaged bias tape.
Yeah.
The Wright's Simplicity and Wright's bias tape are being purchased by a partner of two partners in, I believe it's either Southern New Hampshire or Northern Massachusetts, who also has sort of a company that deals with trimmings or finishings, trims, all that kind of stuff. So they're buying that from Hilco. So anyway, so that's sort of a new thing that's happening. The other thing that I've heard is that Pellon's in trouble, and I think they've filed for bankruptcy, and it's not looking good for Pellon, I guess. That's what I heard today. Now, this is all, what I hear from my chat lines, and until there's a news release, we don't really know. The quilt market thing was a news release on December 3rd, so all of that stuff is accurate. And but these other things that
we'll have to keep our ears to the thing. for those of you that aren't familiar with names, Pellon is a company, relatively new though in the batting world, I have to say. Now we're familiar with Warm and Natural. We're familiar with Hobbs, blah blah blah. Pellon, a couple years ago, came out with their own line of batting. But Pellon more so, and I've been using a product of theirs for years and years and years, the fusible Pellon fleece. It's thinner. I recommend it and sell it for all the table runners, placemats, because it's not big and puffy. The last thing you want to do is put your wine glass down and it rock and rolls and falls over. But they also make a lot of the interfacings. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to step up or shine once Pellon's out of the way in that particular arena.
Yeah. So so that will be kind of interesting to see what happens with that.
Well, I might just have to order another bolt of fusible fleece just so that we have them.
Yeah, I think. Here we go. So, Callie Dell. So CALLIEDEL, 2 words, has come out with a whole line of similar products. Your lightweight fusible interfacing, and we're seeing that name bring more and more products on that Pellon would have made or Warm and Natural would have made in the interfacing world. So I think there are, just like, some of the early notions that we had were made by standalone companies, and then Gypsy started buying one by one. Creative Grids bought some intellectual property as well. And so I think Callie Dell is now somebody who's going to produce products that are similar to what Pellon was producing. So keep your eye out for that name when you go into your favorite quilt store or garment, your sewing store where you're buying your interfacing. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with all of that. But that's a little bit of what we find out about what's happening in the industry. So changes are coming as they do as we evolve. Not everything lasts forever. I mean, Carrie said it well, and she said, we had 46 really good years with Quilt Market, and likewise, I was deeply involved with the Vermont Quilt Festival, which was, a fairly successful mid-level show, regional show, and it hit that 40-year mark, and then it finally gets to the point where the industry has changed enough. Things have become, the cost structures are different, and you just have to make a decision. And that's one of the decisions that was made with the Vermont Quilt Festival, is as it was known, as it was, born in the 70s and it expired around 2021. It lives its life, and then things change and you need to move on. So unfortunately,
if 40 years is the benchmark, Lynn, we're retiring when?
Soon. No, I have quite a few things I have left to do in this world, so of quilting. So I'm not retiring anytime soon, but I might not travel quite as much in 2026 as I did in 2025. It was a really heavy travel year for me. I got a few things.
A lot.
Yeah. And I got a few things that I want to do that are, that I need to be in the studio more. I need to be closer and less travel time out of my total time. So, so I am doing the big events. I'm still teaching for AQS. I am coming back to teach retreats at the Stronghouse. So I'll be back at the Stronghouse in the fall, teaching again. So that'll check out her website, Quilting in Vermont.
I think
Doreen just popped on. She was out of the game.
I think for both of us, you do, you morph into, and I said pandemic played a big role in where we are and what we're doing and where we see ourselves in the next little while. And my goal always has been to bring quilting education to the north, because we have such large geographical distances. We don't have big shows like the States do. So, that was one of the big reasons why I wanted to bring back quilting in Killarney, so that you have a place to come and learn some of the tips and tricks from me personally on a larger scale, and in the environment of the group of 7 and being in Killarney and all that it has to offer there, creatively. But I have another question for you. You've got a quilt behind you. Tell me about the quilt behind you and what's coming up.
So this is the quilt along that I did last December. So last December, I decided that I was going to do something for myself. This is a Jen Daly. She's a New England designer, and she does a quilt along in December every year. So this was last year's. And this is the piece that after tonight, it's coming off the wall. It's going on the long arm because it is my finisher of the year UFO. That's going to be quilted before Christmas.
Are you customing that?
I am. So
okay.
I have no more work to do on the long arm. The long arm is open and ready for that. So tomorrow it's going to be loaded. It's going to snow tomorrow. We're going to mark it, get it on there, and I'm going to custom quilt it. So she's doing one this year, and here's the one that she's doing this year. So this is her little design. Okay. And this is Jen Daly. She has a blog. And I am not much of a pink and red person, so I'm actually going to change this up a little bit and do the chain in blues. So there's a line of Christmas fabric that came out, I want to say it was like 4 years ago now. It was a Moda line, and it was more around green and blues, had lots of trees, lots of snowflakes, sort of like not the motifs were more like a painting. They weren't crisp and printed like this. It wasn't crisp and printed like this. It was more like a painting. So it was more realistic. So I'm going to use that line of fabric. And
now I happened to bounce online the other day when you showed me, and her quilt along, for those of you that are interested, is available step by step or as a PDF download. So anybody that wants to grab, because I looked at it and I thought, well, maybe someday when I have more time, at least then I have the pattern, right?
Right.
Because how often does that happen? You see something, you don't act on it, and then 2 years later, it's like, what was that one that I really wanted to do? At least then you can go back in your pattern box and pull it out wherever you store PDFs on your computer.
Right. So I'm planning on doing that quilt along. And so that brings up the subject of quilt alongs. I want everybody to tell us what they think about quilt alongs. Do you do them? Do you like them? Do you like big projects, little projects? I'm trying to figure out a few more things that I'm going to do here from the studio next year, even though I vowed I'd never bring the virtual studio back online. I might just do that. I don't know. We're talking about that for 2026. I do know that for 2026, and I think I mentioned this last month, is that I am no longer going to do custom quilting for hire. So I've been custom quilting for people for 16 years, and I can't custom quilt as many hours in a day as I used to. I'm a little older now. It's a little bit more fatiguing. And I have a lot of pieces that I want done for myself. So I've made the decision, at least for now. I've left it on my website, but it does say I am not doing custom quilts in 2026. So anyway, so that's what's happening there. So this is going to go on. I'm going to get it done. But I also wanted to show you a couple other guys that are hanging out with me. So right there is my sock. See my sock?
There's your sock. I see your sock.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, yoy. And so look at these two guys.
Oh, look at Mr. and Mrs. Claus. That's
Yeah,
a so kind of
Santa and
wonderful.
Holly. So they're hanging out on the windows. So they're hanging out with us and the little campfire guy and my snowman.
Yeah, look
So
at
I
your
have a
snow.
few of my little guys that are just hanging out, waiting to see me. So yeah.
Yeah. So behind me on the wall, and this is really funny because this goes back years ago. I've got my wrong side, my first so kind of wonderful project that I did. And it's got Christmas fabric. Where are we? It's got deers, me and my deers. It's got deers and snowflakes and those things. And then there was that, Lynn, did you make one of these? It's
yes. I made one of those out of chef fabric for my brother, who's the chef, the retired chef that
there's rows of foam in the squares.
Yeah.
And you put the squares inside out and you tag them together, and it sort of makes this 3D thing. But I didn't like the circle in the middle. So I got a stuffed snowman and I sewed the snowman in the middle of the circle. I mean, you just got to think about some of these things.
Yeah.
This is me. This is years ago. And I had a round table in the old house. So, these rectangles didn't do well, but instead of making it round, because I really don't like making bias binding, don't tell anybody. I thought, well, if I made little squares and big squares, and this is going back so far that after I put it together and I quilted it and I had to put the binding on, and there was no YouTube videos back then, I came to this inside corner.
Oh my God.
And sheer panic set in because I sat there and I thought, how do you do the corner? Like, so I had to phone my girlfriend who owns the quilt store and go, okay, this is what I'm doing. How do we do this? So, early 2000s, we didn't have YouTube videos to do stuff like that. And you relied on friends.
Yeah.
And muddled through. I've got my snowman wall hanging from a billion years ago. And he comes out every once in a while. Right now, he's just living permanently on my design wall while Christmas is here. But the one thing I did want to show you, and I've taught this now for several years, and it's been very popular. It's a tree skirt, and it is all done with steam a seam. It's fused on. So you just cut out the shapes, and cutting out the circle, there's a very good YouTube video on how to cut a circle. You fold it and fold it and fold it, and then, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's my answer to that one. Did you like that? Fold it, and
yeah.
String the pencil. It works. And yes, I did bias binding, but I only did one strip right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is going to go live at my daughter's. I've had him for a couple of years, haven't wanted to part with him just in case I do turn around and teach it again. But I think that ship has sailed, and next Christmas, maybe it's time for a new tree skirt. Something in there to do. I have one more. We do a thing in town. The potters in town run a thing every November, and the quilters got invited years ago, and they sell their wares. They call it Soups On. So if you buy a ticket to go have soup at lunchtime, you get to pick your ceramic bowl, and all the potters make a bowl that you get to. It's part of your ticket. You get to keep the bowl that you eat your soup out of. And the quilters then were also able to sell their little wares during the weekend. And my girlfriend does all these really funky things. And we have this little back and forth that we do. She was the one that taught me how to do hand applique, but she did this. And I bought it because I will never make itsy bitsy little snowball patches with what is it? A 1/4 inch corner taken out.
Oh, come on. You can do it.
Well, there's a difference between could and do I really want to.
Right. I know.
I know. So it was just easier to just buy her little
Yes.
snowman.
Very cute.
He's very cute. Yeah. So you just do odd things. I don't do lots for Christmas. I do more snowmen and winter than I do Christmas. So that it can go on the wall and stay there for the season. But yes, for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's all I got. Talked about.
Well, we're going to button up the bootstraps and get on with the cooking and the family and the celebrating. And the next time that we see everybody, it'll be a new year.
Right.
And the start of a new year is always got new plans. Couple of things to take away before you hit that January snowfall. Go live in your sewing room. Always remember, change your blades. A new blade is like a hot knife through butter. You'll wonder why you waited so long to do it. Change the needle in your sewing machine. Again, you'll often wonder why you waited so long to do it. And give that machine some tender, loving care, because they are the work. Yes. Give them a good clean, some oiling if that's a manufacturer directed item. And just looking forward to those snowy days and doing some quilting.
Yeah. And remember that the holiday season sometimes for all of us, because we're doers, we're quilters, we're always on the go, we're always doing things, can sometimes the whole thing about having to always be doing something for all the time, we're going to get stressed out. We don't get to sit. So be kind to yourself and give yourself that little bit of downtime, because it will make all the difference in the world. It's fine. I got to say, it's not going to matter that there's dirty dishes in that sink for a couple of hours. So if you want to sit after dinner with that cup of tea or whatever it is that is your favorite beverage, and socialize, your grandbabies, and just sit on the couch, whatever it is, sit and enjoy and the moment, do it. The dishes will still be dirty when you get up to do them. So, be kind to yourself and enjoy the season, and don't get too stressed out, because those things are the small things. The big things are the sitting on the couch with the grandkids, or, watching the movie, or just relaxing in the chair and reading that book.
It's one of those, our mothers didn't have jobs, and mine was a stay-at-home mom, and there was homemade bread and homemade this and homemade that. And it's okay if you buy the cookies and don't have turkey,
Yeah.
Just
okay.
Just enter the season with gratitude.
That's right.
Yeah.
So.
And a warm blanket and la. I got my. Anybody who watches my Facebook page, I've been. I found a new thing, and they've been doing a Finnish word of the day, and all of these little guys are called tonttus. So I have my tonttu shirt on. So everybody stay safe, stay warm, stay safe, and 2026 it's gonna be
here before you know it. So
it'll be
So thanks so much for joining us as we sit here and just have this casual chat about the things in the quilting world and the things in our world that probably are very similar to many of you. I hope we bring this lighthearted conversation to you and you enjoy it. And so let us know what your thoughts are. We have the little puppet show going on right now. And make sure you subscribe and like. And we keep creating. Check our website out.
There's still a few spots for that cruise. So if you're still sitting on the fence.
A few spots, and we're going to keep them open as long as we possibly can. So if you're thinking about it and you want to
We just got a new quilter last week, so
So
yeah.
people are still joining us. So to consider that, check out our websites and follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Our next live is January 27th. Lynn will be just back, and I'll be just packing to go away.
Right.
So we'll
trade packing stories. Yeah. So we'll tell you all about what's happened in the 6 weeks from now until then. And so keep creating, spend some time stitching for yourself and relaxing. Enjoy the holidays in family.
Send us pictures.
Yes. Pictures. Yes.
Send us pictures. Drop us a note if there's something you'd like to know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.
Bye, Lynn.
Bye, Carla.